Hey guys, so in today's video I'm gonna talk about the feeling of qualia. You know, the way every single person lives their life and the subjective experience of it. You know, the term to describe that is called qualia. Qualia is a term that comes from our understanding of consciousness. So what it's like to be alive. What does red feel like? Why is red red? Why does something taste like something at all? Why do you even have an inner movie? So I'm gonna talk about that, So I'm quite interested in philosophy, so the idea of consciousness is very, it's very intriguing to me. So I really like to think about it a lot, and then sometimes I just have a mental breakdown just by thinking about it. So just think about it for a second. Every single human being in your life that you see is a person with their own entire reality. This thing might seem normal on the surface, but it's quite fascinating once you think about it. The fact that every single person has a life just as vivid and unique as yours. Fascinating, man. And yet there are a lot of people who end up on different kinds of trajectories. Some become successful, some become great, some achieve what they want to achieve. Some don't. And some keep dreaming, and some stay stuck in their imagination, and some people just end up settling. It's wild to imagine, for me personally, that the feeling of qualia is the same for everybody. Like, if you imagine the qualia is basically, if I'm gonna summarize it once more, it's basically the subjective feeling of what it's like to be alive. So the feeling of qualia is same for everybody. If you take a beggar or a homeless person whose life is not in a very good position, the subjective experience of living, every single person of you, I think, all there is about life, from you people's perspective, is your own lives, right? Your own subjective experience. You don't know what it's like to live as another person. So for every single person, all that exists is their sense of self and their subjective experience and the physical experience of the world. Qualia, if you look at it, is same for everybody. Like, if you take Alexander the Great, who is one of the greatest conqueror in entire history, yet the subjective, like the physical feeling of being alive for him, is same as a homeless person who's 45 and doesn't have a home, right? So it's quite fascinating, Like, I used to view successful people, like people who are successful in their life and have achieved something big, as some kind of a different species, Like, they are extremely unique. But if you really think about it, the subjective experience of their life, the inner movie, the movie that they're like playing with, is just the same as the rest of us. Like, they're not enlightened, Their sense of self, their consciousness is same as anybody's consciousness, and it is wild for me to think about it. I used to always think, man, like the successful people you see on the internet, some people that you look up to, the models, the actors, the politicians, the successful athletes, they all share the same exact sense of self, and yet their life trajectories end up vastly different than the majority of people. And every single person, it's very fascinating that every single person on this planet wants to be successful, wants to be a somebody, yet only a few succeed. Yet their sense of self, their physical experience of life, their imagination, and what they're witnessing, the way they look at a tree, the way they look at a cloud, the way they look at a building or whatever, is basically the same across everybody. Yet some people end up on such different trajectories, and that itself is so fascinating to me. And this feeling of qualia, a subjective feeling of what it's like to be alive, is present in every single species in the world. Let it be any animal, let it be any dog, any cat, for every single living creature, all there is just their own lives and just their own experiences. And if you people are like active on Reddit and stuff, you can see that a lot of people have asked this question. Okay, and even I as a child, and even now I think sometimes jokingly that, what if I'm the only real person who's alive and everybody else is just a robot who just You just imagine people like they are just figments of your imagination. So this is a very well-known kind of a question in philosophy, that a lot of people think other people might not be real, because this just stems from the fact that your subjective experience of life is the only thing you got. You cannot physically peek into someone else's mind and see how it's like to be them. If you get what I'm saying. Let's say you're Chris. So you cannot peek into Ryan's head and see what life feels like from his perspective. You can only witness life from your perspective. So yeah, this is a very fun kind of a question, or very fun kind of a childhood paradox kind of thing that arises in many people's heads, that what if I'm the only human alive and others are just robots? And this really bugs at me sometimes. Yeah. But what's fascinating is the answer to this question lies in the question itself. Like, think about it for a second. The question is, what if everybody else is a figment of our own imagination and I'm the only real human alive? So the direct answer to this question is, like, the fact that other people are asking the same question is itself should itself be a proof that there's a very, very high possibility that they might be just people like you, right? Of course, you cannot 100% prove that the world is like, the people are real, or everything is actually what it looks to be. But there's a very high possibility, because we humans look at the behaviors of other people and then we come to a realization, oh, this guy behaves exactly like me. So we interpret that, okay, their lives could be just as vivid and strange as me. That's the real thing. But there's no physical evidence that you could have to, prove that other people are actually living a life just like me, experiencing things just like me, look at a tree just the way I do. So it's very strange, and you cannot physically experience what it's like to be another person. But it's very, personally to me, it's very fascinating that the feeling of qualia, it's just such a strange idea. What do I say about it? Because as physical entities, it cannot be proved that we are conscious or there's a subjective experience. Because imagine if you're looking at a rock. Imagine there is a very small possibility indeed, but there is a possibility that a rock, imagine a rock or a pebble, whatever, that might very well be alive. We just don't know it yet. So it's very fascinating to think about it, because if we are just made of matters and particles, it's very amazing to think about that those particles could react together in a very specific manner to produce something that's alive. And the only proof that it's alive is you yourself, or anybody who it is. Same way a rock could be alive, a pebble, a stone could be alive, we just don't know it yet. I mean, in a theoretical, from a purely philosophical point of view, it could be possible, right? So yeah, these were the philosophical thoughts that came into my mind today, and I really love talking about philosophy and stuff, and a lot of stuff. So yeah, on this YouTube channel, I'm gonna be posting videos like this and all that, some self-improvement videos, whatever things that I'm interested in. It's very possible, and it's pretty expected that nobody would see this video except me, maybe one or two people. But still, I like posting these kinds of videos because I enjoy talking about these kinds of stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna post videos like this in the future. In the age of AI, I don't edit my videos very well, but yeah, it's still out there. So yeah, see you later. Bye.